Okay, guys. I really don't like to bring up these current events, but this one, I really thought about it and really bothers me. First and foremost, I want to say my condolences to the actual victim's family. Uh, it's a 26-year-old male, and and there was two individuals in the actual vehicle with him, and according to East County Magazine, their local magazine, and you know these small magazines, these small actual editors, that come from these low budget, not low budget, but minimum budget actual news outlets. They can either go both ways. They could either go with the narrative of reporting the news as it is, or siding with law enforcement, siding with politics, siding with politicians, and it depends. It depends who actually who owns this actual magazine, and I'm gonna just read it for what it's worth, you know what I mean, and just take it for what it's worth and give my opinion. Apparently, there was a pursuit around 10 p.m. at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. at night, and playing 200 hours. So they ended up, and I'm pretty sure that that this actual driver stopped at this gas station on purpose. It's a well lit area. Obviously there's cameras, there's witnesses, and he didn't just stop there by accident. And an altercation uh, ensued where they ended up shooting this actual 26-year-old, the driver. It doesn't give out many facts, doesn't give out many details, and that right there is suspect in itself. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is. It's a homicide now. No matter how you look at it, it has to be considered a homicide. And the surprising part about it is that the San Diego sheriffs is actually investigating this shooting. I don't see how that is possible. These are federal agents that opened up on a civilian, and a local sheriff is going to be investigated. First of all, San Diego sheriffs, they have no credibility. And I say no credibility whatsoever. Okay. If you look it up at, if you look up a lot of actually, they're the ones that actually investigated the actual that mansion in Coronado when the female was nude and was found hanging from one of the tiers, one of the patios, one of the actual lofts at a mansion in Coronado Island. They're the ones who have investigated the disappearance of the McStays, I think, the family that disappeared out of Fallbrook, California, and they wrote it off as they walked into Mexico and disappeared into the wind. Yeah, it's that agency. And fortunately for that family, San Bernardino sheriffs actually took over the investigation. Was probably the best thing that could have happened to this to the family of these actual homicide victims, because they ended up finding out the bodies up in somewhere in the desert in the high desert up in San Bernardino area, Riverside area. So now different agencies actually investigating. They got to the bottom of it, not just right off it as a disappearance. An entire family was buried out in a shallow grave out in the desert, and these guys wrote it off as a disappearance, a voluntary disappearance, let's just say, you know. So the credibility of these actual individuals, no, and they're so quick to take credit for all these unsolved, and and they didn't solve anything. They was solved for them, you know what I mean? And that includes one of my cousins' actual shooting. He got rolled up at a gas station and bam, he got blasted in the head. Was unsolved for many years until somebody actually was caught in a jam and was caught in a corner and had no other way out, and he became a state witness and opened up three cold cases that were unsolved by the San Diego sheriffs. And he actually gave up a lot of information, and they ended up solving this actual three homicides on this particular individual, just like that. So it's sad to for the family of this individual, 26-year-old, to have to deal with the sheriff actually conducting this investigation. You know, I don't know why the FBI does not was is not actually investigating this actual incident. Uh, I really don't know why. Anyways, so this individual was killed. Uh, like I said, there's not much detail. Just give you it just gives you the actual location and how many individuals and just a quick scenario. But that's it. And you know, and I don't have the resources, I don't have the means, and I don't have the actual uh gonna say the time actually or the actual to dedicate this, and then it would be more than a one man project. And I've always, and I'll throw it out there right now, if anybody actually is able to do it, it's for the better, it's for the good. It would be for the good of the community to actually start a website, to actually start a channel, to actually start a streamer of some sort, and I would be actually willing to help out. You know what I mean? And as Shadows always said, I wouldn't charge a penny. If there was revenue to be collected, of course I would enjoy that. But to start off with, you wouldn't have to pay me anything as a consultant or as an advisor. But I would really actually entertain the idea of following up with open news. And when I say open news, is that when these incidents happen like this, it just doesn't stop there. I can look up so many different actual articles, so many stories, so many victims, so many actual perpetrators. And the actual story starts off with the original publication of an incident. It stops there. No follow up, no no conclusion, no and that's where this channel would actually take take its toll, take its actual dedication to actually finish off an actual story, finish off an actual chapter. And I I would really I think that would actually really be a successful channel, and just pick up local stories, and with the help of the community, with the help of the actual family members of these victims, uh, follow through on these actual started chapters, you know. And I'd be interested to find out the reason that these border patrol agents actually unholstered their weapons and opened up on this 26-year-old kid. Apparently, the chase ended there at this gas station. What was said or what was done in order for them to open up? I'm telling you right now, for a border patrol to open up, it has to be something severe, something that actually they were actually threatening. And I'm not just backing them up. I'm just not giving them an excuse because 9 10 out of 10, you're not dealing with the actual criminal element. Like I've told you guys, the 9 out of 10, you're not dealing with the criminal element, especially out in that area where this happened. It's rural, off the highway, but definitely interested in the actual facts. And unfortunately, we're dealing with San Diego County, so San Diego Sheriff, so they will not give out any kind of information that will compromise the investigation. Just look up these cases, you know, the Coronado case, the Fallbrook case of this entire family, you know. Just look these up and you'll see for yourself. And the only way things are going to change is to put these actual agencies out on blast, you know what I mean? And hold them accountable, you know. And how do you report right off a family that disappeared willingly, voluntarily disappeared, but yet they're buried in a shallow grave out in the desert? Come on now. Nobody ever held them accountable. Nobody is accountable for all these mistakes. The accountability is there. People are not, and I'm not trying to get anybody fired. I'm trying to get anybody any kind of jail time. But come on, man, it's your job. You have to take some responsibility at some point, you know. All right, guys. So we're coming up to the actually to this coming up to the date of Memorial Weekend, and this entire week I'm going to be dedicating some videos to the fallen agents. One particular one actually was working out of that station when this agent was fatally wounded, falling off a cliff. You know, and like I told you guys before, the last thing, the worst thing you can hear is for Sector to call out. Has anybody has anybody had a visual of Agent 123? Has anybody had any communication with Agent 123? That's when your heart stops and you take a breather and you relax and you say, okay, what's next? And you finish up what you're doing and you finish up what you're actually taking care of at the moment, and you just listen and you listen for the next command, you know. And you keep actual area clear. You keep the actual channel clear because sector needs to be communicating with the line agents that are closest to this actual individual agent that's missing. All right, guys, this wraps it up for this video. Sorry it's a little bit too long. Don't forget to subscribe, man. Thanks.